Hi students, today I am going to explain for 8th class first chapter. So transport of food and minerals in plants. How the food and minerals are transported in plants. The body of every plant and animal is made from cells. We know that all the plants and animals or all the living organisms are made up of cells. So in order to survive and maintain themselves, all the cells require oxygen, water and food. So to acquire oxygen, water and food and there are different processes, and after acquiring they should be transported to all the body parts. So oxygen, water, food or any other substance may be picked up at one end of the body. It is picked at one end and it is transported. Thus transportation is a life process in which a substance absorbed or synthesized in one part is moved to the other part of the body. So this method of transportation of substances in plants and animals is there. The organs of systems of animals responsible for transportation of materials is called circulatory system. In animals it is called circulatory system, and in plants there will be transportation of substances, water, food, etc. So now let's see how the plants and animals send substances. So transport of substances across plasma membrane. Plasma membrane is the membrane surrounding the cell. Since plasma membrane is the channel for flow of substances between cell and its surroundings. So between the cell and its surroundings, it is a channel. So it will allow the substances to move inside and outside. So it is very important to understand the mechanism of transportation across this membrane. So across this membrane, how the transportation occurs, what is the mechanism is there, it is very important, and it should be remembered that those substances are transported so that the cell is able to maintain homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? So why the substances are transported? The substances are transported to maintain the internal conditions of the cell constant. The conditions whatever is there in the outside environment, the inside environment should be same. So homeo means same, stasis means remain same. So conditions, so it means the internal conditions of the cell remains constant, even the conditions outside are changing. For example, it allows selected substances such as vitamins, salts, water, oxygen, food and hormones to enter the cell. So it will allow all these substances into the cell. These helps the cell to conduct metabolic activities. Similarly, it removes carbon dioxide, nitrogenous waste, secretions, excretions, etc. out of the cell. So for entry or removal of substances in and out of the cells, there are different types of mechanisms involved. What are the mechanisms? There are three types of mechanisms they give: active transport, passive transport, in this diffusion, osmosis, and bulk transport, endocytosis, exocytosis. So what is first, we'll see what is active transport. So it is a fast transportation process in which ions, glucose, amino acids are transported across the membrane at the expense of energy. So active transport means, you should remember, energy is consumed for transporting. So energy is needed for transporting is active transport. Because that's why it is very fast, because energy is getting consumed, the transportation is faster. Then what is passive transport? It is a slow transportation process in which again water, ions and gases are transported across the membrane without any use of energy. That's why it is slow process. So what is the difference between active transport and passive transport? Active transport, with the use of energy, there will be a fast transportation of materials, whereas in passive transport there will be slow transportation of substances without the use of energy. So then there are basically it occurs when there is a concentration gradient between cell and surrounding medium. So again, when there is difference in the concentration, then the transportation occurs. There are two processes involved in this passive transport. So in the passive transport, how the transportation occurs without energy consuming is because of the difference in their concentration. So there are different types of passive transport like diffusion, And osmosis. So what is diffusion? We'll see. Diffusion is defined as the process of movement of substance from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration across the membrane. So across the membrane, through the membrane, there will be a transport of substances or movement of substances from high concentration level to low concentration level. For example, if we add a drop of ink in water, what happens? It diffuses with the rest of water and all the color of the water will change into blue color. So from high concentration to low concentration where the ink is not there, it will diffuse. So all it will become uniform. So there will be a movement of substances until all become same concentration. Similarly, the fragrance of a burning incense stick. So in the puja room, we burn the incense stick placed in a corner of a room. So it will spread whole room, and because it diffuses in the air. And in a cell, the gases including carbon dioxide, oxygen move across the cell membrane during respiration through the process of diffusion only. Then during cellular respiration also, carbon dioxide gas is produced in the cell. This carbon dioxide will become higher than the outside. So high concentration to low concentration it should go. So CO2 diffuses out of the cell through plasma membrane. Again oxygen enters into the cell. Because oxygen is used up in the cell, its concentration inside the cell becomes less. CO2 is not used in the cell, that's why its concentration will become more and it will come outside. But when oxygen comes inside, so it will not become more, concentration will not become more because it is used by the cell, that's why it will be less. So oxygen diffuses into the cell, so always the concentration of oxygen will be less inside the cell, that's why it will be diffused from outside to inside. So other important functions of diffusion in cell are discussed below. The substances get uniformly distributed within the cytoplasm through diffusion. So what happens through diffusion? Because it moves from high concentration to low concentration, the substances will get uniformly distributed. So until it becomes all same concentration, it will be diffused. Then dissolution of substances in a medium is possible through diffusion. Because of diffusion only, the substances whatever is there we put in a medium, in a liquid medium, it will get dissolved. So then fragrance of flowers spreads to large distances through diffusion and attracts the pollinators. So pollinators like insects, so pollination occurs because of the fragrance of flowers and it will spread because of diffusion only to very long distance. And even transpiration also occurs due to diffusion because there will be concentration gradient created. Then respiratory gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide are exchanged. I told before how the carbon dioxide and oxygen diffuse by body cells with environment because of diffusion only. Then here one experiment they gave, activity they gave to demonstrate how the diffusion in water takes place. So take a glass beaker and fill it with water to half. Add a few crystals of potassium permanganate to it. Observe for a few minutes. See how diffusion occurs through the beaker. How much time does it take for potassium permanganate crystals to diffuse completely in water? Let's observe. If we heat water or take hot water, how much diffusion takes place? So diffusion takes place in cold water little slowly, but when it is hot water, if the temperature is increased, diffusion will take very fastly. Like this they explain. Next here see. So when RBCs is placed in hypotonic solution, swell up and burst. They are said to be hemolyzed. So when RBC is placed in hypertonic solution, they will shrink. They are called crinated. So RBC, when they are placed in hypotonic solution, more concentration, they will just go inside because of diffusion and they will swell. So to maximum extent and at last it will burst. When RBC is placed in hypertonic solution, low concentrated solution, so what happens? The materials will go outside. So it will become small, shrink and crinated. It will become crinated. Then next is after diffusion, osmosis is one more process of passive transport. It is defined as the process of movement of solvent particles from region of high concentration to that of low concentration across a semi permeable membrane. This occurs when the membrane separating these two media having concentration gradient is permeable to smaller solvent particles and impermeable to large soluble particles. So osmosis means here also there will be a movement of particles from region of high concentration to the region of low concentration, but through a semi-permeable membrane. So this membrane will be separating the two media across the concentration gradient, and it is permeable. It will only permit smaller particles and it will not permit large solute particles. For example, in case of sugar solution, take sugar solution, plasma membrane is permeable to water molecules and it will not allow sugar molecules. So whenever a concentration gradient occurs between cell contents and surroundings separated by plasma membrane, then osmosis occurs from region of high solvent concentration to the low solvent concentration. So there will be the movement of particles from high solvent concentration to low solvent concentration. In other words, we can say osmosis occurs in the direction of high solute concentration and lower solvent concentration. So then there are different types of solutions they gave: isotonic, hypotonic, hypertonic solutions. Isotonic solutions means solutes and solvents will be same concentration. Iso means same, tonic means concentration. So solute and solvents will be half same concentration as that of cytoplasm of the cell. So if they are same concentration, no osmosis occurs along cell membrane. 0.9% salt solution is isotonic for human RBCs. Then hypotonic solution means in which solvent concentration is high and solute concentration is low. So solvent is more, solute is low. So here what happens? Endoosmosis occurs. Next topic is endoosmosis. I will explain there. Then 0.7% salt solution is hypotonic for human. So 0.9% if it is there, it is isotonic. If it is 0.7%, then it is hypotonic. And what is hypertonic? So reverse of that. Solvent is low and solute is more. Solute concentration is high. So compared to cell cytoplasm, here exosmosis occurs. Here 1.3 salt solution is hypertonic for human RBCs. See here, isotonic solution all will be same. So there will be no movement. Hypotonic solution in which solvent is more than solute. So it will be moving inside, and here solvent is less than solute. So it will be moving outside. And then on the basis of direction of movement of solvent particles, there are endosmosis and exosmosis. Endo means into the cell, inside the cell. So endo means into or inside, exo means outside the cell. So occurs when the solvent molecules enter into the cell through semi-permeable membrane. Here in hypotonic solution, solvent particles are more concentrated. So from more concentration to low concentration, so it will be moving inside. So inside the cell is endoosmosis. It occurs when the surrounding medium has less concentration of solute and more concentration of solvent. So like that of hypotonic solution. Then exosmosis means where solvent molecules exit the cell through semi-permeable membrane. It will go outside through the semi-permeable membrane, exit the cell. So when the surrounding medium have low solvent concentration and high solute concentration. For example, hypertonic solution is exosmosis takes place. Next. So here they gave Ringer's solution is a balanced aqueous solutions which contain chloride, sodium, calcium, potassium, bicarbonate and phosphate ions which form an isotonic solution. So all this will be present in the same concentration. So it is an isotonic solution, Ringer's solution. And then here we can see one experiment to demonstrate osmosis in different cells. In an egg, take 2 eggs and remove their shells by putting them in dilute hydrochloric acid. If you put in dilute hydrochloric acid, outside shell can be removed. Place one egg in a beaker containing pure water and label it as A. And a second egg in concentrated salt solution B. So wait for 5 minutes. We can see egg in beaker A swells up and egg in beaker B shrinks, because here why it will swell up? The particles will go inside. So that is endoosmosis. Here the particles will move up outside. So exoosmosis. When the hard shell of egg is removed, it is enclosed by only semi-permeable, that white shell membrane. Pure water is hypotonic to the contents inside the cell. So endosmosis occurs. Water flows into the cell through the membrane and egg will swell up. On the other hand, concentrated salt solution is hypertonic solution. It has less water concentration. Don't think of salt. More water, less salt. So more water is there. So concentrated solution, it has less water concentration as compared to the cell cytoplasm. So it has a less water concentration. So water will flow. So water flows out of a cell through exosmosis and egg shrinks. Then in raisins, take few dry raisins, put them in pure water in a beaker and some in a concentrated sugar solution. Which medium of the two is hypotonic? So which is hypertonic? Just comment me in this. Same like eggshell only, endosmosis and exosmosis occurs. In human RBCs also, first clean your ring finger with the help of spirit and prick it with a disposable needle. So put 3 drops of blood on a slide and mark them at A, B and C. A drop of Ringer's solution, water and concentrated salt solution. So it is isotonic and it is hypotonic, hypertonic. So there occurs, so RBC here shrink, here it will blood plus water, so water goes inside and it will swell up, and here it will not change. Like this it will happen. Then seismonastic movements in touch me not plant. We can see the touch me not plant. If we touch, it will just fold. So this is called seismonastic movements occurs because of osmosis only. So the unicellular organisms such as amoeba, paramecium, etc. gain water through osmosis. Their contractile vacuole throws out excess water out of their body. So if water is more, the contractile vacuole will throw out the excess water. Diffusion depends upon kinetic energy of molecules of diffusing substances only. So diffusion takes place. If the kinetic energy is more diffusion takes place. If it is less, then less diffusion takes place. Though osmosis depends on diffusion of solvent molecules, it is influenced by presence of solutes in the system. So osmosis, though it depends on solvent, it is also influenced by presence of solutes. Then some osmosis is observed in our day-to-day life also. So in various life activities, let's say root hairs of plants. So when we put water to the roots of plants, what happens? Due to osmosis, plant cells gain water through osmosis, and so it will absorb out. Then transpiration occurs at the leaf lamina of plants through osmosis only. Osmosis also helps to maintain turgidity of cell. So the cell turgidity will be maintained. Its shape of the cell will be maintained due to osmosis. Gain of water, removal of waste from cell body of unicellular organisms, all this occurs by osmosis only. Then we'll get doubt what is the difference between the osmosis and diffusion. Movement of solvent molecules. Here solvent molecules will move where there is concentration gradient between two regions. So movement of solvent molecules from high concentration to low concentration. Here movement of solute particles from high concentration to low concentration. Here it occurs through semi-permeable membrane. Here if semi-permeable membrane is not there also, it will occur. It occurs only in liquid medium. It occurs both in liquids and gases. Here solvent concentration does not get equalized. After the osmosis occurs, the concentration will not become equal. Here concentration of substances should become equal in diffusion. So these are the differences. Here solvent molecules will move. Here solute particles will move. Here semi-permeable membrane is necessary, must. Here not needed. It occurs only in liquid medium. It occurs both in liquid and gases. Here it will become equal. Solvent concentration will not become equal. Here the concentration will become equal. Like this it is explained. Next is what is bulk transport. When large amount of material is transported across the plasma membrane of the cell at the expense of energy. So by using of energy, bulk means so many materials. one time. It is called bulk transport. Some molecules like lipid molecules, food particles, macromolecules, etc. This bulk transportation of occurs by folding plasma membrane to form carrier vesicles. So next, transport of substances in plants. In the next video I will explain. Thank you. Subscribe for continuation of this video.